I'd like you to meet some new friends of mine, Shadow Rabbits. As read directly from their bio, Shadow Rabbits is a Kansas City-based collaboration between singer-songwriter Ashley DeTola and multi-instrumentalist filmmaker Jon and Ashley. If you've heard of them, then you've probably seen at least one of the music videos they've put out from a track off their debut EP, Truest Blue. Or perhaps you've seen the visually stunning music video they created for Clinic's track Cement Mixer. Or maybe, just maybe, you stumbled across their very unique ALS Ice Bucket Challenge video. Remember that viral video challenge from 2014? Yeah, Shadow Rabbits managed to summon up the mindset of Stanley Kubrick for their video contribution. Or, on the other hand, perhaps you've not heard of Shadow Rabbits, and that's okay, for now. So assuming that at this exact minute you are not driving a car, or doing something that needs your full undivided attention, I want you to do something for me. Go to the internet and type in followshadowrabbits.com. Again, that is followshadowrabbits.com. Once you're there, click the play button located on the lower left-hand side of the screen. I'll wait. So what you think? That was a pretty rad short film, no? I personally think it is, especially considering the fact that it came from a group that formed a little under a year ago, who only have one EP out, and who, as you'll hear in today's episode, have developed their visual and filmmaking skills through passion and no formal training.
I've always been interested in like set design and movie makeup and stuff, but I mean, I'd never done anything at a professional capacity or anything.
It's becoming more and more important for independent working musicians to have a secondary or even tertiary skill set that can tie back into their primary objective: writing songs, recording songs, and playing shows. It's even more interesting when the music isn't the primary objective of an artist's creative outlet, but somehow, just somehow, they get led back into that path while pursuing other creative platforms.
We didn't really go into it thinking that we were going to start a band necessarily.
That was the main topic for discussion when I had Jon and Ashley in to talk about the missing chapters which played out to form the creative project titled Shadow Rabbits. But as you'll hear throughout the various chapters of this episode, as our conversation develops, we get deep into a lot of other interesting topics that make up their story. So here we go. Missing chapters, missing chapters, missing chapters.
Chapter 1.
So that was your third show. So your first show was right before middle, and your second show was middle, and this was your third show.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. We feel fortunate like that we've been asked to play these big fests because not a lot of people know of us yet. Mm-hmm. We've only been together for like 6 months or so. So yeah, it's just been really cool.
Yeah, and the first show was pretty much a practice show for Middle of the Map too, because that was really that Middle of the Map was our first show, our first real show. So
we're like, we better
That's
get
pretty baller
something in before we just get up in front of Middle of the Map. So
yeah, especially when we're learning. I mean, a whole mess of new material and stuff just to get ready for a show. So
and everyone else in the band has been in previous projects, and this is my first one ever. So I've literally never performed on stage, so I was a little freaked out, but I think it went really well.
Yeah, it did. I saw you guys in middle. I unfortunately didn't get to make it out to the Lawrence Field Day Fest, but I know you guys played on Record Machine Showcase.
Yeah.
Via Luna and tons of other good bands.
Yeah, that was a really fun show.
It was. That was a blast.
Yeah, had a great time on that one. But yeah, so hopefully have one more show sometime in October. I think we're gonna try to book one, maybe in one more this fall or something, and then get ready for next year. I think gonna see what comes next year. So
you planning on doing like a full length next, another EP up in the air?
Yeah, it's been I would love to do a full length album. It's kind of one of those things where nowadays with the music industry, it doesn't really make sense to release anything more than an EP, especially when you're a new band starting out and you don't really have that much of a following. I think if we were to kind of do a full length, which we definitely want to do, it'd be just more of just something for us rather than just trying, because it's not very viable to record a full length album and then put a promotion in, because it's a lot of work. And the only time I've ever done it was with my previous band, and there's a whole team of people you got to get involved with it, and it's a lot of work to do it. And we're just kind of at that stage right now where I think releasing music in the capacity that we're doing, with just kind of with the one album that we have, the EP, we did it online. I mean, it's worked really well for us because there's just really no kind of put it out there, and then it's easy to circulate, and it's only 4 songs, so it's easy for people to kind of digest. But I'd love to do a full length, but we're just kind of feeling it out right now, seeing where this whole thing's going. I think.
And we have a bunch of material that we're working on right now. Like, I think we have 5 songs that are partially complete. So I mean, we're hoping to get at least 3 completely done soon and get them out there for people to hear. And we have an idea for another music video that we want to start at the end of the summer too, which is something we love to do.
Yeah, actually, that's what John was telling me, that Shadow Rabbits, and correct me if I'm wrong, started off as kind of an equal amount of effort between film and music, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole project pretty much started with, we didn't really go into it thinking that we were going to start a band necessarily. Like, Ashley and I've known each other for 3 years now, and we started out just doing different kind of creative things together. First thing we ever really big project we did was a music video. We kind of went into it thinking it was going to be a photo shoot. Then we went out and Shawnee Mission Park and shot like a music video. It was just kind of like on the fly. We ended up putting the song Cement Mixer by Clinic behind it, and kind of had this music video and put it online, and it kind of got circulated. The band Clinic actually picked it up and posted it on their page, and so we got kind of excited about it. We're like, hey, let's do another music video. And at the time, we weren't thinking about starting a band or anything. It was this kind of idea for Truest Blue, the music video that we have out. She'd kind of written a melody line and sent it to me, and it had that kind of like 50s like doo-wop vibe to it. And I kind of like used it and was messing around with something musically with it. But like I said, we didn't really have a big idea for a project. We were just like, well, let's take this and make this video, and we could release that. And then, we'll call ourselves Shadow Rabbits just so we seem like we have a band name or something. But then I think halfway through the process of doing the video, we had some other songs we were kind of working on at the time. And it just was like, well, let's just release an EP and see what happens with that. And then it just kind of snowballed, I guess, and we ended up releasing another video within a couple months, and then got asked to play Middle of the Map. So we're like, okay, well, let's get a live band together and kind of see what happens, with that. And so it's just become something that we didn't initially expect it to become. We just thought it was going to be a fun project between the two of us. But yeah, now we're playing shows, and it's something completely different. But it's been a fun journey so far, the short journey that it's been.
Yeah, it has been. Been crazy.
It's really interesting to me. So you indicated that the Clinic music video was on the fly, and that's a super dope music video, by the way. All the animation and everything that goes on, and then you guys just kind of put together some songs for the EP, which is amazing too. Yeah, that's really cool because you guys are really focusing in on the art, and to me, that's what's kind of driving the music, and the end product is just amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think we had a discussion about it earlier too, where I think we started to toy around with the idea of forming this sort of musical project that we could, we're in the initial phases of it, we could kind of control the whole visual aspect of it too, kind of going into it clean. Like, nobody really knew who we were. So we could kind of release these videos that were sort of like have Ashley kind of play these characters in these videos, and we could do like photo shoots together. And we had the ability to do that, and I have a lot of talented friends too that are willing to help us out with these projects.
Yeah, we're lucky in that sense. All of our friends, like his friend Lennon, works at a studio, so he like let us come in and helped us out. I mean, we have a lot of friends that are musicians, actors, all that stuff. So we're like, hey, can you help us? And everyone got in on it. Yeah. It was really cool.
So we can kind of create this whole, with their help, this whole like visual complement to the music too. And that's why I was telling you that I think that we kind of went into it wanting to put equal effort into the visual aspect as well as the music. So it's not really just one or the other. It's kind of, and I mean, we've toyed around with the ideas of even just doing like a short film sometime, and kind of tying in Shadow Rabbits music into it somehow, and just like different stuff like that. So it's not really, I think we're taking a little bit of a different approach to it, is just like, oh, let's just, make an album and try to go on tour and stuff like that. We're just kind of seeing it more of a creative outlet.
Our band is a cover for us just wanting to do all of these projects. We don't actually want to be a band. No, I'm kidding.
And it's nice too when you're starting out like this, there's no pressure on you to do anything or to be anything specific because we haven't established that part of us yet. So
Right.
like this part's fun because it's like we can kind of just do whatever we want, and and if people like it, they like it, and they don't. There's no pressure on us to like really be something specific, I guess.
Yeah, like the first video, we were like, oh, we both love horror films, so we're kind of like, it'd be cool since the song's kind of eerie, doo-woppy, has that weird vibe. We're like, we could make sort of like a horror video for it. And then the second one, like, we love film noir. We're like, let's make a film noir video. And I don't know, I think I want to keep doing that, just taking things that we're interested in and somehow mixing the music in with it.
Yeah, and then I mean the idea that we have for our next video, without giving anything away, I mean it's different than what we've done before. It's different, completely different vibe, and so. But that's what's kind of cool about it is we can do that now, and there's not going to be. We have like 200 fans on Facebook, so nobody's going to be like, wait, this doesn't sound like your other stuff,
No one's worried about that.
Yeah, so and it's kind of cool, like in a way, like you want to kind of keep it that way too. So it's like you just have that freedom to do what you're able to do. Because I mean, I've been in musical projects before that have established a certain sound and a certain fan base, and if you do stray from it, people it becomes a thing. It's like, well, this doesn't sound like your other stuff, and this doesn't. So yeah, I think we're just gonna try to like milk that opportunity right now to really just do as much different kind of out there things as we can. And
yeah, it's kind of like the curse of the sophomore record, right? Is it gonna sound like the first release?
Yeah. Hopefully we never get to that point where we have that pressure on us. Have any pressure on us to do that.
But that's cool. I mean, because
like a low key sort of deal,
right? And I mean, fans eventually get over it. You have like the super hardcore fans, and they'll get over that. As long as they can see the musical progression, and as long as the release is kind of like a cohesive idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they can always get behind it. Yeah, I was gonna have that initial onslaught of what?
Yeah.
What is this?
And I mean, I'm guilty of it too, listening to bands like I'll discover on Spotify I've never heard before. And there is, I think, a couple examples recently. I got into Porches recently, and then Andy Schaaf are the two artists I got into, and heard their more recent albums, which kind of have a certain defined sound. And then you go listen to their older stuff, and you're like, this is totally different. It's not. So it's harder to get into it because you have you go into it with a preconceived idea of who they are. But yeah, so even as somebody who makes stuff, like I still have trouble accepting the idea that other creative people who make stuff obviously evolve too. So you have to it's tough to cope with that, I guess. But
that's a hard thing to explain to a fan. Like, okay, these set of songs, and then you're playing them for almost every night for a year. You just want to try something different. You just want to, go to a major key instead of staying in minor the whole time, or just try something different.
Yeah, I mean, we've only done 3 shows, and I think we're already wanting to do we're kind of over the songs that we're playing already.
Every time we're going to a practice, we're just like, oh god, I don't want to go practice
to play the same
anymore.
songs over and over again. Yeah, we're already trying to write a bunch of new stuff and get it incorporated because it's we've been doing it for 6 months, and that's another crazy thing too. Is say we had been doing this for 3 years, for somebody who had just started listening to us, to them, we've been doing it for, a couple months. They don't see that. A lot of these bands out there, they've been playing the same songs for years and years and years. And, all the shows they play, then all the practices. And I could only imagine how tired they would get of playing a lot of that stuff, but they go out and do it. And
yeah, I just saw Weezer this past week at Starlight, and I kind of saw the same thing. They were trying to get in their new material, and people, of course, they love Weezer, so they're dancing, but then they start playing stuff from their Blue album, and people just go nuts.
Say It Ain't So,
and I'm like, you have
song.
to be so sick of that. I mean, it's great. That's a great album, but yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is just do what Portishead did and disappear for a decade and then come back, and then so you only have 2 albums that span 2 decades basically.
We had joked about that in the beginning. We were like, let's just create a band that only plays a show once a year, and just disappears completely and then reemerges with some new music. And
yeah, that would be fun. Of course, then it'd be nerve-wracking because you have that one show a year that you have to. That's as much as as much as we love playing shows, it's like I feel like we're trying to get more shows in now just to get practice. And I mean, we love the 3 shows that we played so far, but it's like, man, we need to play more. Like, just
to get your name out there,
Yeah.
so more people know about you too.
Yeah, get your name out, just being comfortable playing with everyone on
Yeah.
a stage. Way different than down, in a practice area.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Our first show was at a record store, and then like I said, I'd played, the guys that are playing our band, the backup, our whole project are guys that I played with for years and years, so we're pretty comfortable. But Ashley's never played with not just those guys, but anybody. This is her first time singing on stage, and I think we're all going into it a little nervous because we're even still learning new songs, and it's all kind of a new thing. So before the record store show, even though we knew it was going to be a small show, we're like, well, we should do something. We should do something like have like a open practice or like kind of like a party and just have friends come over and listen to us, just so we can kind of like get our feet wet before we just play a show. So we scheduled this. It was like a dress rehearsal show that nobody came to. Everybody like at the last minute canceled.
No one.
It was like on a Saturday night, and
We just decided to get really drunk, and then we what do you call it?
we live streamed it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're
Okay.
like
That's good
just
plan B.
drunk playing.
Yeah, but it was like the week that Facebook, I think, started the live stream thing. So we're
Right.
like, oh, let's try this. And it's crazy because even though there's nobody there, you still feel that same pressure.
Yeah.
It's like, you put it on live. I'm sure probably maybe 1 or 2 people like tuned in for like 30 seconds to watch it. But
My mom.
yeah, definitely, her mom definitely watched it, and I think maybe like one other person watched it. But you have this, I mean, you're putting that pressure on yourself, and it's like simulating being on stage almost.
Yeah.
Even though you can't see the faces that are watching you, but yeah, it was kind of a weird thing because we've never done anything like that before. I guess the only other comparable thing would be doing like maybe a radio in like type thing, but yeah, it was really interesting to kind of like go from playing these songs just with the 4 of us, and then you put a camera in front of you that's being live streamed, and like I said, even though only 2 people are watching it, you're like, oh, okay. Now like you feel like nervous, and like it was
I
weird.
was definitely dancing around a little more. Like the
Yeah.
guys were like getting into it a little more.
Right. You never know who's going to tune in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was funny to watch back.
And I think it is more nerve-wracking too when it is your people watching. Our first show, I think, was a lot more nerve-wracking than our other 2 shows because, I mean, one, it was our first show, obviously, but it was all of our friends and our parents. My parents, who live in Arizona, flew up to see it.
Oh, wow.
Her parents live in Wichita, and they drove up to see it. And then all of our friends are there, and it's just, as people that personally, I think it puts a lot more weight on.
Sure.
Yeah, what you're
Absolutely.
I agree completely. That one was scary. I mean, being my first show
Sure.
ever, and then also, yeah, the whole shop was just full with every single person we know.
And pretty much all, I mean, that was 90% of the people. I mean, not to say that like there was enough people to like really divide it into like that percentage, but like most of the people there I think there was a couple people we didn't know, and then everybody else was, like recognizable faces, and it's really weird looking at.
Like, I have to face these people again. So.
And they're going to be the most critical too. For sure.
Absolutely.
We're either the most critical or the ones that are like, yeah, it sounded great. You're like, yeah, well, it's kind of out of tune. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me about that. I've always been curious about that Facebook stream. So do you do it on your phone or did you do it on like a laptop?
I think you do. Yeah, I'm sure you probably could do it on your laptop if you have the camera. But yeah, we did it on our phone. We like duct taped it to
Stairwell.
yeah, stairwell, because we weren't planning on doing it, so I didn't bring like any equipment. But we duct taped my phone to like a stairwell, and it streams through your camera on your phone.
It was perfect too. It died like the second we were done with
Nice.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
You
My,
have
my phone's never charged, obviously. So.
You have to walk around and find like the best spot of sound in the room. I've always been curious about the live stream, like how they get the sound right.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes through the phone. The room that we play in sounds all right because it's like, like this, it's all carpeted and has a bunch of furniture in it. So, but I always feel like the phones nowadays, they think they sound decent enough to where, I mean, it's not going to sound professional, but you can at least decipher what's happening in some of the videos people take at concerts. Even, I mean, it just sounds just as good as if you got like one of those external recorders.
Yeah,
almost
like a
nowadays.
bootleg version. Yeah, the compressors in these phones are pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's one of my favorite. I mean, the cameras are good and the microphones are pretty decent. So
Yeah.
so they're not bad. I mean, we use them. I use our iPhones just to record. Well, actually, funny thing is all.
Wake up at night, look up at me. Ooh, I wanna know where you've been. Okay, take your time, don't have to speak. Ooh, it's written in the red of your cheeks. Tracing my steps, where do we lead? Ooh, I wanna live in your skin. Take me away, you don't have to feel it. Ooh, I wanna know where you're going. Your slumber is a slow drip. It gets under, even the thickest of skin. You can only let it in. You wake now, you wake now, you wake now.
You're wasting away, you've undone